Hey everybody, this is Brandon Ford and welcome to the Blind Rage podcast. I'm very happy to announce that Tony, a.k.a. the Thunder from Down Under, is back with me for more Ozploitation. Say hello, Tony.
G'day, happy to join you for the Ozploitation.
Do you say Ozploitation down there? Or is that just an
Uh,
American thing?
it's not a term that I heard frequently until I watched a movie called Not Quite Hollywood, but I think it's more a behind the scenes term than what it is quite out in the open.
Well, yes, yeah. Is it offensive?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay, well that's good. So we are watching a pretty obscure movie called Allison's Birthday,
Mm-hmm.
which was um, released in 1981, shot in 1979. And this is a very low budget affair. And it's, like I said, very obscure. And there's very little information out there about it. And it had a brief DVD release that I was able to find. It was a double feature with a movie that I never heard of, and it has gone out of print. And that is the only version that I could find on Amazon, um, other than the VHS. But my version is from the VHS, and I don't know what the exact running time is. Would you mind taking a look at your screen?
Yes, it's 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 28 seconds.
Okay. So if you find a version that is that length on YouTube, you can feel free to watch along with us. Otherwise, I have no idea how you could see it because, like I said, this is pretty obscure. This is so obscure that Tony has never even heard of it.
Although, just to interrupt you quickly, I reckon that it's available on Amazon Telly, in Australia at least, because I looked it up on the streaming devices.
Oh, it's for streaming.
Hmm.
Oh, I wonder if it's HD.
I should have had a look-see before, but I just watched the version that we have, so...
I wonder if it's all polished up and widescreen. I'm jealous. Not that I could see it, but um. And did you? I know I asked you this before, but I thought maybe you had done a little bit of research. No, I was just curious if you recognized anyone from it because everybody who's famous from Australia is from Neighbours. So
Well, I feel that one of the actresses went on to be in Mad Max, but even that, because I haven't seen Mad Max in such a long time, and everyone's so young then, I couldn't even tell who was who for that anyway. It's not Mel Gibson. That's as much as I know.
uh, what about the director or the writer? Is he familiar to
No,
you at all?
I
Or she? I don't even know.
I know that part of the production was done by Channel Seven, which is a the free to air channels, and they do a lot of they do Home and Away. So I kind of got that feeling of a precursor to that type of soap opera style
So you think this was
TV directing.
you think this was an Australian TV movie?
Well, it was made by a TV channel. However, it might have. I'm sure it got a cinema release. And in saying that, say the movie The Castle, that was funded by Channel Nine. However, that was very much a cinema release.
Hmm. Well, um, there goes firecrackers again. Somebody is celebrating something here in Philadelphia. I don't know what it is.
It's our
Um,
third podcast. That's what they're celebrating.
there you go. Where it's an
Yes.
Ozploitation eruption explosion. It's an Aussie explosion.
Yes.
By the
The
way,
thunder from down under is reaching it.
there you go. That's exactly what it is. That is the rumble of the thunder from down under. Um, I was gonna say, do you say? I mean, when you spell Aussie, do you spell it Ozzie or Aussie?
When you do Oz, it's O-Z, sorry. But with Aussie, it's A-U-S-S-I-E.
So if I refer to you as an Aussie, you would be
Yes.
AUSSIE.
Yes.
Mm. So why do people say Oz?
As in, what?
Like Ozploitation, for example.
Well, because I think the shortened Oz is how we do Oz, like ounce. But Aussie, you wouldn't do double O double O double Z I E.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't answer you properly anyway.
Well,
I'm sure it's far more historic than.
well, I wouldn't, expect you to. It's not like you're from Australia or anything like that. Let's not be ridiculous.
I just live here.
Sure. Um, and so, do you have any interesting anecdotes or tidbits that you'd like to share with us that transpired since the last time we recorded?
Um, well, just a bit of socializing. Nothing too grandiose. I went to a fundraiser to raise money for the local gay rugby team, and that was good to do a bit of catching up. Otherwise, just hanging out with people, and actually, I'm looking for another job, so I've been doing a bit of resume sending and hoping for good news.
I can only imagine that the Australian rugby players are very easy to look at.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And anything in short shorts is something nice to be seeing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Rugby's not really a thing here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not unheard of to play rugby. It's just, I think you see the shirts more than you see the actual game.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's a famous San Franciscan rugby team that competes against the Sydney gay team.
Oh,
I forget their name though. I think it's Sydney Sharks versus San Francisco something. But
San Francisco.
oh no, it's the Adelaide Sharks.
Oh, and okay. Um, I I don't really have a whole lot to report. I got my personal copies, my physical copies of He Wore a Leather Jacket today. And
Well, I did that the other day.
you what?
I wore a leather jacket the other day.
Oh, okay. Well, that's part of that goes with the theme. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I also got a new Blu-ray today. Okay, I'm pretty sure I just ordered it yesterday, and it came pretty quickly. But it is an Lenzi film, Italian
Mm-hmm.
movie from the late 80s. And I'm sure a lot of people, if you are listening to the podcast and you are well versed in the genre, you're familiar with Umberto Lenzi and the film in question, which is Nightmare Beach, aka Welcome to Spring Break, which is a movie that I like totally based on the fact that it's so stupid. But I got that one today, and I also got the Black Cat, which is another Italian horror movie by a director whose name I can't remember. And I watched it and I kind of knew what was going on, but I kind of didn't because it was very, very campy and over the top.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons why I got it was because Caroline Monroe is in it. And she's English, so she speaks English, but she's done some Italian productions, and generally they would dub the other cast members for the English
Yes.
version, but they dubbed everybody. So
Oh, okay. So even she was dubbed by
so
someone else.
she was dubbed
Oh,
even though she was speaking English. So I didn't even know who was her.
yeah.
I was looking at the because I was trying to find out which member of the cast of characters she was, and I did notice that there were some interesting character names, and this didn't even come up as like a joke. I think this was just totally happenstance or laziness on the part of the writer, but there were characters named Flora, Laura, and Nora. So there's
And they're
that.
unrelated.
They're unrelated. Yes, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even think they are ever in the same room at the same time.
Well, we knew a family whose sons were like Vinko, Marinko, and Dinko.
Oh, that sounds Greek.
Oh, well, we're Croatian, so European is close bound with.
Okay. Um, yes.
Sorry to put you off track there.
Yes, you did. I just went right off the rails. Um, but I also got Sleepless, which is an Argento, which
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched that one yet. That's one of his more recent ones. I think this one has Max von Sydow in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't watched it yet. So, and I'm also very excited that my Friday the 13th deluxe Blu-ray collection is on its way. And I rambled on during my commentary track for the original Friday the 13th a couple weeks ago about how I already own the Paramount Blu-ray tin, and there's no possible way that I could rationalize buying another box set. But I saw that it was on sale for $99 from 154. So I figured I should get that.
Yeah.
And I did. Um, so that's coming Thursday, as is my new stationary bike.
The what?
Because
Sorry.
I'm my new stationary bike.
Oh, okay. Yep. 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 Oh,
I,
nice.
yes, I have one, but it's a little too bulky and cumbersome and heavy. So I got
Yeah.
kind of a smaller one, and I need to get back into my bike riding again because I put on a little. I gained 4 pounds.
Oh my lord.
Um, and that's a
I wouldn't
lot.
worry about it, but I'm glad you're getting into shape if
But
you feel
that's a
like it.
lot when you're a little Italian like me. I mean, I'm only like 5'3", five
Yeah.
five on my best day. That's 5'5" in boots. Um, but yeah. So, but I used to ride my stationary bike all the time. Generally, what happens with me, because I go off and on these different. This has nothing to do with anything, and I'm sure people who are listening to this are probably fast forwarding. But generally, if I'm like, I will have extended periods where I will ride for an hour every day, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and then something will happen. Um, like a relationship will fall apart, or I'll get in a fight with somebody, something emotional,
Yeah.
and then I just won't pick it up or get on it rather, um,
Yeah.
for an extended period of time. But well, it's a given. It's going to happen. But let's hope I get rid of these uh, extra pounds before I do. And also, let's get into the movie before I do.
Yes.
So we are going to begin Allison's birthday, and I'm very excited because I really do enjoy this one. And if you're watching with us, we're going to begin with a 3, 2, 1 count.
Mm-hmm.
And are you ready, Tony? Do you have your?
Yes, I've got it. I've got it on the cursor, and you will hear my my loud click.
Yeah, you pounded
Yeah.
it when we watched Psycho Beach Party. You meant business.
Yes.
You were not fucking around, as we like to say
I
in
was like, "Come
America.
on, motherfucker."
Oh, okay. Hearing you swear because you do it so infrequently, it's very jarring.
Well, I do it with a smile, so.
Yes, it's all very cheeky. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. I heard it that time. Okay, so she's putting the tiles on the glass. See, I've never seen a seance like this before, but I can only imagine that they decided to do it this way because do you have Ouija or Ouija boards down in
Uh,
Australia?
they are purchasable. I have heard of. I have heard of it being done this way. However, not with I assume they're using Scrabble letters.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they cut out letters from like magazines. Type of thing.
Yes, I've heard of it that way too. Yeah.
Lovely angle of the woman's face here, by the way.
Um,
All right, fingers on the glass.
but I
Ali?
for the movie, there's a movie called Witchboard from the 80s. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I reckon did they remake or do like another version in the 90s?
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think you're thinking about Ouija. Are you thinking of Ouija?
No. There was one where it was a witchboard, and the only thing I really remember about it is the guy on it was a bit hot, and there was a sex scene, and the woman kept her pearls on. That's about all I remember of it.
Did he have his hair pulled back in a ponytail?
Yeah, I reckon so.
That's part 3.
Is there a spirit?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's actually the worst of the 3.
Yeah.
Towards the yes button.
But anyway, for the first one, from what I hear, they used the traditional Parker Brothers Ouija board that you could find in any toy store here. And then they realized, oh shit, we could get fined because we don't have permission to use this.
Yeah.
So I think they just went ahead and filmed the rest of the movie using a Ouija board that was made by someone who did some sort of design. What's the production design?
Yeah.
And a production designer put one together, and you don't see the original Ouija board ever again. And as far as I know, they didn't get into trouble for it. But so they're having a seance here, and this scene, I first saw this when I was very young. I was about 10, 11.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a rental, and then I hadn't seen it for a long time. And then I found it online, and I downloaded it, and I remember being pretty, I don't want to say, like, frightened, but I was like, oh shit, when the girl gets possessed, because I didn't remember things taking such a dark turn so quickly into the movie.
Yeah.
But so what are your thoughts on the movie?
Well, I enjoyed it, and I will say before I say anything, if, don't read the synopsis on IMDb because I
Yes,
read that
please
first.
Yes, and it completely
gives away a
ruined
lot. Like, yeah.
It gives away the whole twist, which is bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and it did remind me a bit of the soap opera stylings, which is still fun. But and this thing, I don't know whether they took influence from Evil Dead, how she became possessed.
Yeah. Well, this was
because that sort of came out of nowhere when she started putting the cards down, and then suddenly someone starts demonic talking.
Well, this was before.
Oh, when was the Evil Dead?
Well, this was shot in '79 as well. The Evil Dead started shooting in '79.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah,
I think they shot on weekends or something. It took them like 2 or 3 years to finish it. I think and I believe it actually came out in '81, the same year this did.
Yeah,
interestingly enough.
Good on them for being initiative.
It's possible that could have been. I thought you were going to say that it reminded you of The Exorcist.
It did as well, but I actually tend to forget about that first scene in The Exorcist because there was a Ouija board element to it,
sorts. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that thing was. It was some sort of Ouija board, but I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah.
But yes, that was how she communicated with Captain Howdy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And that is the name that the killer goes by in the late 90s slasher movie Strangeland.
Yes.
Are you familiar?
Yes, although he was not a killer, was he?
Well, no.
He was just into a bit of S&M that went a bit far.
Well,
sometimes.
forced sadomasochism.
Yes.
But one girl did die because she had a heart condition.
Yeah,
and she had a trauma from it, from being tortured.
Yes. I wasn't sure if that movie was inspired by A Clockwork Orange, and I felt it had some similarities to that.
I saw Clockwork Orange once, and I really don't. The only thing I remember from it is the statue of the woman with the milk coming out of her nips.
Oh yeah, at the Malika bar.
Mm-hmm. And Malcolm McDowell's penis, which I really didn't need to see at all, ever.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's during the gang rape, I believe.
Oh, maybe I do remember. Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever needs to see Malcolm McDowell in a state of undress. He's buying a record.
Yes. It's very ahead of his time.
Yes. I forget which band they said, but I wonder if it was actually a real band. So you don't know this actress who plays Allison?
No, I have a feeling she might have gone on to Mad Max, but I really should have checked that out before recording. She plays his wife.
Oh. Okay. What's her name?
Oh, give me a minute.
And her boyfriend is a DJ.
No, I won't.
He's a little young to be so established, I would say.
Oh, it's country radio.
Oh,
They give a try to anyone.
okay.
I mean, for during the day, yes, but because there's the local radio station here where you can get on like from 3 a.m. till 4 type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get into the recent vinyl craze?
No, I thought about it, but the first of all, they take up way too much room.
Yeah.
And the whole point of one of the main reasons to get into vinyl is so that you could admire the artwork. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't see it, so there's really no point. You know, all I would be getting out of it was just music and shitty quality.
Alrighty, I see your point. I did get a few. I feel like I was actually a little bit ahead of the curve when I started buying vinyl because I sort of started buying it in the how old am I now? Towards the early 2000s.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's
Um,
definitely before
but
it was in vogue.
like not a lot. However, going back to winding back to our story about A Clockwork Orange. My ex introduced me to a band called Moloko, and he was quite a big fan of it, and I've become a fan of them myself. And I bought a vinyl record, and he heard some of it in my car because I taped it onto tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we broke up, he sort of like we stayed friends, and he asked me, what was that version of the song that you played? And because he was very tech advanced, he could never get a copy of the song, and so I was a bit like chuffed. I was a bit chuffed, even though we were still friends, because he wouldn't be taking cassettes or playing vinyl. But
I don't want you to think I'm not listening, but I just no, seriously. I'm totally with you. I'm on board. But I want to point out this scene that just passed here because it was clearly a setup because Allison's boyfriend was able to or well, you don't know if he was right or not, but they were watching some kind of a mystery program on TV, and he was able to figure out or thought he knew exactly what was going to unfold. And I think that was his character's setup because he comes to do the investigative research,
yes,
and he ends up finding out what happened or what's going to happen to Allison, and that her family are have some sinister plans for her.
yeah,
But in no, in 2000, I think that vinyl was still just primarily for DJs.
yeah. It was mainly dance vinyl at the time.
Yeah, the 12-inch singles.
Yes,
Another thing that I think is kind of pointless about getting into vinyl now when it comes to older releases is for me it wouldn't feel authentic because I would know that this wasn't the original pressing, that this was just a
yeah,
remanufactured version, and I would want it's just I would see it just as a novelty.
yeah, yeah. But see, I don't mind the novelty. I have this ambition of having like a vinyl party where people can just bring their vinyls and put the song on that they want to play, and then
That
everyone gets a chance.
that is what Gary Dalabate, who works for Howard Stern, he has those parties. He's very into vinyl,
Oh, okay.
and Howard gives him a lot of shit because of it. Um, my father had a lot of vinyl, original pressings, the Beatles, David Bowie,
Yeah.
Rolling Stones. He was very, very into music growing up.
Yeah.
And when he got married to my mother, he didn't take any of it.
Yeah.
Well, my mother is a bit of a control freak, and she does not like clutter, so I doubt she would have let him have an extensive record collection, even if he did want to bring it along. But he left the records at my grandmother's house for years, and then she ultimately threw them away. And like all of those records now are going on eBay for like $300 to $500 a piece,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is crazy.
Growing up, we never had that type of. A lot of the vinyls we had were Croatian folk music, or else they were the smaller vinyls. Did you ever have the children, the golden books or something? Yeah, so they were vinyl versions of those that you could sort of play along as you were reading the books. But
Yeah, I had those. I had. I had more music on cassette tape than I had on vinyl. The one the one biggie that I remember having is really, nothing major, because like everybody in the world had it, and that was Thriller.
oh yeah,
I do remember having the Who's That Girl single on 45.
the Madonna or Eurythmics.
Madonna.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I assumed, but didn't want to.
Oh, you should never.
Otherwise, you make an ass out of you and me.
That's right.
It's just up ahead where those trees are.
Trees? What trees? I don't see any trees.
So,
Oh, you're hilarious.
I know. So I don't. I think there are way too many red flags that Allison is just completely ignoring. I mean, I know that this is her family and everything, but I don't. The way that she's just sneak out, and the way to see her boyfriend, and the way they are purposely excluding him,
Yeah.
it's very suspect. I don't even think they invite him in here.
How often have I told you natural nutrition is the key to good health? Never mind.
This kind of has echoes of Rosemary's Baby.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Because they're giving her their own version of the Tannis root.
This is Allison.
Yes.
Do you like Rosemary's Baby?
Look, Dean.
I do.
I hope it's
I haven't watched it again in ages, but yeah,
I always wear it.
It was a gift from
it's sort of one of those things
when she first came to us.
where I feel conflicted, being it's a Roman Polanski movie.
Well, it happened.
But in saying that,
before.
one of his favorite, yes, one of my
Doesn't look ill.
favorite movies was a movie that he did called Death and the Maiden with
Yeah,
Sigourney Weaver.
we talked about that.
No.
That's an excellent movie.
Mm.
Very, very good movie. Sigourney Weaver, really, really spectacular.
Yes. Like, I feel she's very underappreciated by critics. I'm kind of wishing she had gotten an Oscar for something. She's been nominated, but yeah. It sort of gets to a point where
I never thought about
they
that.
don't
but
get their
that's
chance.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes with the Academy, I feel that they don't award someone and like award them the next time, but then some actors or actresses don't get there next time.
Right. Well, that's like what happened with Denzel Washington, because he had he had done so much exceptional, so many exceptional performances. I mean, was nominated so many times, and then he won for a movie that was just kind of so, and
Yeah.
nobody really cared that much about. And it was clearly, this Oscar is for all the stuff that we should have given you
Yeah.
Oscars
We're making it
for.
up.
We're making it up.
Well,
Yeah.
some people sort of felt that way about the Leonardo DiCaprio, the Revenant. I forget. Sorry, the Revenant.
Revenant. Yeah.
Yes.
And still making more money than you know what to do with, judging by that rover in the driveway. Oh, that.
Now, who is this again? Is this his father or his brother?
I thought so, but I'm
Uh,
going to say anything. Just
I feel that their relationship is more brotherly, but I should have listened better.
Why don't you go upstairs and unpack
Or uncle,
while I
maybe.
wash up down here?
Oh, yes.
Tidied up your cupboards, you'll find lots of space to hang
Yeah,
your
they don't even let him in the house.
much to unpack.
This is a little odd.
My legs a bit. Well, don't go
Got the
down
macrame tablecloths. This is bringing me back.
there. There are snakes and spiders and oh goodness knows what.
You know, I'm starting to wonder what you two are hiding down there.
How do you mean, dear?
Well, you used to tell me that when I was a kid. What sinister secret lies hidden behind the old stone wall?
Well, I don't know if there are any vampires down there, but there certainly are snakes. Your Uncle Dean was nearly bitten by one just 2 weeks ago. You don't just
Well, I think
No, I suppose not.
these characters are performed innocently enough that I think you can forgive her not being suspicious.
Yes, but they do slowly but surely get to be
Yes.
a little more and more. What's the word?
Devious.
Well, I was going
No.
for a fancy, a more eloquent term than controlling. But
Cunty. No, I'm just kidding.
there's that. Yes, absolutely.
No.
Poor Allison.
It's going to end up with rust stains on her shirt.
Oh no, we can't have that.
With some of these, there are certain thrillers where I feel the only reason you're sort of scared watching it is because the genre is a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing really too scary is happening, but you're like sort of on the edge watching it because you know
Right.
something might happen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think
Which is fine sometimes, but then other times it's like, come on, get to the point.
if it's good, it depends on if it's how well it's done. I think it's done well here, although there are certain moments in which it lags just a little, not too much. I don't. When I revisited it a couple of weeks ago, I was invested in it.
Yeah.
For sure, and it was able to hold my attention when I was very
Yes,
very
definitely.
young, too. So.
Oh, I only watched it for the first time a few weeks ago, and I was definitely, in one sitting watched it, and it took me along the journey.
Mm-hmm. I can't help, but every time I think of this movie, I think of Delta's movie, Hating Allison Ashley,
Oh, okay. What makes you think of that?
because there's Allison in the title.
Oh, of course, yes. It's past 12 o'clock here, so.
Yes, I know what that means. Wasn't that a big flop?
It didn't do as well, I think, as people were hoping, because the book is beloved. And it had, like, Delta is a big enough name that you would hope that people would go see it, but
She was sick at the time that they did it.
yeah.
Either she was sick or she was just in remission, because she's clearly wearing a wig. in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Like, I don't think she filmed it during, like, chemo or anything, I would hope. But, yeah, I don't really remember the timeline of if, let's say, she filmed it and then while they were cutting it together, she got the treatment or if she filmed it after treatment.
Well, it was, I think '06, and that was around the time the second album came out, and that was around when she got sick.
Yeah.
But
Right, the Stonehenge replica.
yeah, it's a little odd. It's so, the English are so lucky that they get to see things like this, and all you have to do is get on a train for 2 hours and you're in Paris.
Yes.
Living in Europe must be so incredible because all of the well, the things that I can't appreciate. I hate to keep coming back to it, but we don't have anything old here.
Okay.
Well, because we're a fairly new country.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything close to Stonehenge or like the what are those things called?
The pyramids?
Well, that's Egypt.
I know that.
But it was like the Colosseum.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember some actor talking about how they were in Europe, and it's like amazing to see buildings where they've got their build date and it's in the hundreds.
Wow.
Like established 986 AD,
Yeah, that's amazing.
See, we have a similar in Australia. A lot of our old stuff is Aboriginal, like carvings and nature formations. But I guess the one thing that I was excited to do when I visited America is we got to drive into Canada, and so you can never drive into another country in Australia. It's
Well, you can go to New Zealand.
yeah, but you can't drive there
Why not?
because it's a different island.
Oh,
Let's go in there and clean it up one of these days.
I didn't know that.
Ooh.
Did I make you choke?
No, I just said, "Ooh!" Like you get to learn something every day.
I guess I honestly didn't know that. I thought you could get the backpacks and be like, "Come on, guys, we're going to New Zealand."
We've got a 16-hour tunnel trip together.
There you go. Yeah.
No,
Have you ever been to New Zealand?
yeah, it's I really enjoyed New Zealand. Something I remark is that they're very content people. Just you get a real sense of happy to be here vibe from everyone that I met.
Well, my friend Lizzie has met some of the Aboriginals, and she said they're unusual.
Okay.
I'm putting that politely, so I don't want because I did have a couple of Kiwis listen to the podcast. I saw it in my stats, and I would like to keep that up. I love all the Kiwis, so please, and the Aussies.
Yes.
And,
Well, the Kiwi nationals are the Maori people.
oh,
So, kia ora to anyone from New Zealand.
I love everyone. I love everyone, and I even had some Croatian listeners. I told you before.
And you asked if I had put you onto them, but no, I don't actually talk with my Croatian relatives. But
I used to be friendly with. I'm on this whole thing about
We thought we'd like to leave
being
everything just as it was.
reaching other
Home whenever you want.
regions of the world. But I used to be friendly with somebody in Romania,
I bought you a cup of coffee.
Oh, okay.
and we chatted because we had
That's a natural vitamin. Tonic. Drink it up, nice and hot.
I'm gonna lose some of my horror cred a little bit. But I used to be quite the fan of the Norwegian pop group Aqua.
Ah, no, there's no shame in that at all.
Oh, there is here, believe me. Same thing with Ace of Base.
Ah,
You're very much ridiculed if you admit to liking Ace of Base, and I do very much so. But yeah, the lead singer from Aqua, Lena, went on to do a solo record after the second Aqua, and there were some bonus tracks that weren't released. Well, the album wasn't released here.
yeah.
But I think it was released in the UK, and I had a UK version or something, but there were like 4 different bonus tracks. And I met this guy on a message board because he had all of them because he liked her. And we used to chat regularly. He was gay, and I think he like told me a bit about like the Romanian gay scene, and
Yeah.
it was very unlike America, and it was so strange too because I asked him for a picture, not that kind of picture, but I asked him for a picture, and it was like a almost a full body shot. He had clothes on, and it was taken like in his living room or something, and his house was like something out of a completely different time. It's like, where
Oh,
is
okay.
this? It was like definitely not anything that you would see around here.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it like wood paneling, and was it an apartment?
it was a bit garish.
Okay.
It was not attractive.
What are you doing here?
So you never spoke to him after that?
No, not after seeing this ridiculous house.
It's only Grandmother Thorne.
Well, it must have been. I just remember him thinking when he showed me this picture that this has to be a picture that he shows to people on like cruising sites. This was before Grindr. This was like early mid aughts.
Yeah.
So because he was wearing a shirt, a silver shirt that was like painted on, and
Okay.
he was obviously did some push-ups before he took the picture because his chest was kind of bulging out a bit, and he had his hands behind his back, and he was like had his head to the side, like, look how sexy I am.
Yeah.
Not that he was unattractive, but I just, he was trying too hard, we'll say. But no, we didn't have any kind of romantic. We were just friendly.
Morning,
Yeah. So how is the Romanian gay scene different than the American gay
I don't
scene?
remember.
Yeah.
Allison, Grandmother
This was
Thorne.
so long ago.
Oh, that's okay.
But
I kind of overreacted a bit.
American.
Did you just talk about Transylvania?
She wanted me to take you to the room, but I
No, but he did say that
Now, what would you like?
Dracula was one of the main things that people think of when they think of Romania.
Yeah.
Are you planning to go?
Um,
I thought we might take
but
pictures.
Oh,
um,
we were rather hoping you'd spend the day with us. We haven't seen you
apparently,
in such a long time.
Americans
And there's lots to talk about.
have a reputation for
Aussie Iris is flying down from Queensland. Now, you haven't seen
how
her
do I
right
say
now.
this tactfully?
I won't stay up late. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow.
Well, this is the Blind Rage podcast. This isn't the Wonderful World of Disney. So I'll say it. We are, and I think this is for gay men, we are known as the best cocksuckers.
Oh, okay.
And yes, a lot of European countries know that about us. And
Something else I noticed too.
when my ex went, he studied abroad in Russia. He was a musical theater, and he did musical theater in Russia for his last semester. And he got in a cab outside of a gay bar in Russia, and apparently the cab driver wanted to sample some American fellatio because he didn't know how to speak very good English, but he
Yeah.
basically wanted was trying to get across that he wanted to pay and trade.
Yeah, you wanted to use nature's credit card.
There you go.
I don't remember much about them except that
And
I remember I kept trying to wake myself up.
my ex got out of the car, according to what he said.
He'd had enough woodwind that night.
Mm.
Down the backyard there's this
Well,
big place,
I will say
kind of
this.
stone circles with
I have there's a lot of Czechoslovak gay porn,
this party. Will you
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did notice that they have a different technique.
7 o'clock. The exact time I was born, so they tell me.
What's what's different about their technique?
Well, they don't. Again, I'm just gonna say it. They don't put it in their fucking mouth.
Ah, did they lick it?
They like kind of don't open their mouth wide enough, and so
Oh,
it's just
okay.
kind of the head goes in.
Yeah.
However, they like kind of move about like they're doing the act appropriately, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not at all.
It's
And
like having ice cream in a cone as opposed to a cock.
well, I mean, you give ice cream a lot more love than some of these guys were giving dick in these movies that I
Yeah.
saw. Because it was like the head would only go in, and then they would back up like 5 inches, and they come go back, and it's like, just put it in your fucking mouth. That's not how you do it.
You like to see the accomplishment. Although, a lot of the porn I used to see was more Montreal,
The way we feel about
which was quite fun.
Yes, yes. There are some nice. Um,
guess I'm kind of
as I'm sure that you know, I have an affinity for the French and the French language,
Yes.
and I've definitely seen some French porn, and they definitely know what they're doing.
You're dead
Yes.
Oh, he's pretty broad-minded. Besides, he said he'd like to meet you.
Although, with a lot of European porn, I find the music a bit distracting.
Yes,
It's like they're using MIDI.
yes, I agree. Well, music seems to not be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I think music stopped being used in porn that was produced by actual companies probably within the past 15 years or so. So
Yeah.
you get to hear all the squishing and slurping and slapping sounds, which is why we're here. We're not here for bad techno music. I remember.
Sorry?
This is probably. I was gonna say. I remember. This is not. This is probably not going to be a very popular episode with the straight listeners, if there are any. But there was a scene that it didn't have any music, and it was a rimming scene, and they must have had a boom mic in just the right place because you heard every fucking thing.
Yep. Well, maybe the guy with the arsehole had an echo.
Maybe. Maybe it was the guy from Pink Flamingos.
That's right, yes.
They're not going to like it. I can't stay in
Rosebud.
Nights are bad enough.
Mm.
Listen to me, I sound like a frightened kid.
Well, in the brief moment that you see him before he does his thing, he wasn't unattractive from what I remember.
Yep, yep.
And then things took a very nasty turn.
He got shit-faced.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a term in America? Where you get drunk?
Shit-faced?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I could have a word with you, Pete. Sure.
And then when we have the German festival, you go out to get shits and faced.
Jennifer and I, we haven't seen her for some time.
Oh no, never
We're
done
looking
that.
forward
for
very
that
much
one.
to having a word in the next few days. I mean, it's only natural that we'd like to have more
We don't say
That's really
pissed,
jealousy, isn't it? Well, yes, of course.
but
Yeah.
We thought
Canadians do.
if you could stay away
Oh,
for
okay.
just a few days. At least until after Wednesday.
Sorry, but we've already made it.
When we say pissed, we just mean upset.
You can't have.
Very angry.
Yes.
Wednesday's the party.
I know.
We've got a lot of terms for drunk. I think we like getting drunk, so
Family party.
Well, what's very popular these days is lit,
I'm afraid you
Oh, okay.
which is interesting because that is something that my parents used to say.
something you can't begin to understand.
Yeah. For some reason, I always thought that was more of a drugged term. Like I'm out getting lit.
Well, no,
Why? Because he's
I
my
don't think
friend, that's
so.
why, and I want him to be.
But then again, I'm not.
But you're being very
I'm not hip to the lingo and drug culture. No, but well, what my mother used to say, I remember when I was very little, is she used to say half lit. Like if she was referring to
yeah.
somebody who was drunk, she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
she's clearly half lit." But
Yeah.
yeah, and then when people started saying lit again, I was like, my parents used to say that. Where did we going to start saying groovy now? Like,
Yes.
what's going on?
Well, at least
So we're not doing a lot of talking about this movie.
Well, I was noticing that the grandma, she's got some saggy tits, but
Oh,
no, not that she can't help it, but
yes, the
here's
poor
another,
thing.
drink some more of your special
Tannis root.
vitamins. Yes.
try and get a good
Were they exposed, those saggy boobies?
No, I don't believe. No.
Well, let's hope not. And I wasn't. I think she's like
everything will be all right.
103.
No, that's the great grandmother, I thought.
The situation with the boys become impossible.
Oh,
Who's she staying with?
Oh, it already has been.
say again.
And don't worry.
Who is it that she's staying with? I thought it was the grandma. Or is it an auntie?
No, it's her aunt. You're talking about her?
Yeah, oh, Lord. Yes.
Yeah, that's her aunt. And what is fishy is that she never knew about this great grandmother, and they're acting like, oh, it's no big deal. She's from the UK, which they would never
Yes.
they would never fly somebody who's 103
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
UK. That's a little too chancy, even in 1979. Back when there were ashtrays on planes.
Yes. Although when you could smoke on a plane, the air would be fresher because they would recycle the air a lot. quicker, more often than they do now.
Mm.
But still, I'm glad people don't smoke on planes.
Were you ever a smoker?
No, I knew how to, but no, I wouldn't. Like, let's say when I got really drunk, I might have a few puffs, but it wasn't really something you'd get to a point of drunk where you just want to feel something in your lungs. I
No,
could be
but
wrong with
okay.
A bit of fancy special effect works.
I remember being at a point of being drunk where you want to feel something somewhere. But this month, I always, I don't remember the exact date. So I always just consider June to be my my quit month because I stopped in June of 2008. So that makes this 13 years since I had a cigarette.
Smoking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you have dry July in America? Oh, no, I suppose you wouldn't because July is your big party month.
Come to me.
No.
It's sort of a stop drinking initiative to not drink for the month of July.
No.
Yes.
No, that would not go over too well here, believe me. There would be riots in the street.
It's not enforceable. It's just an option people take.
Oh, okay.
It's not prohibition. It's
Well, no, I don't think anybody would even entertain the idea because that's the first I've ever heard of it.
yeah.
Yes, this is very, very Rosemary's Baby.
Yes. Oh, there's a dog barking at my end today.
And that's not Mitchell or Dakota?
No, they're not barkers. Well, not that type of bark.
You didn't, go all Lola on them, did you?
Oh, what? Sorry?
I was doing a loved one reference.
Oh, Lola. No. I would just like to mention it's very primitive, but I do like their editing where they do a bit of split second snaps between the next scene. And it's something that I liked. Dario Argento did it in one of his movies. I think it was called Cat of Nine Tails. And it was just something I always thought was an interesting way of transitioning to the next scene.
What is it called again?
I'm pretty sure the movie was Cat of Nine Tails.
No. What's the style of editing?
Oh, so as opposed to a dissolve, it would be they'd put in a few seconds from the next scene, cut back, then a cut back again, and then cut to the next scene.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I've seen that.
I'm here to pick up Ellie. She's expecting me.
Oh, she hasn't come down.
That's not really done anymore.
Oh, wait.
No.
Better come in then.
It's fancy for the day.
That movie is actually part of the set that I have coming.
I'm sorry, she's
Oh, yeah. It's actually... for a while I wanted to remake it, but with a different... I wanted to write a story that was sort of inspired by it.
Ellie, what's the matter?
But the thing that puts me off doing that type of stuff is not knowing how much
take her back to her room.
I can manage.
you need to involve the other people.
The legalities.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you can do anything you want. Well, at least in America, just as long as you call it a parody.
Oh, okay.
Important thing is to make sure she stays in bed and rests for a day or two.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I'll see she does it.
Well,
That's how the porn industry is able to get away with making porn parodies of the Golden Girls and actually calling them the Golden Girls. and Seinfeld, and there's porn parodies of everything, but
Yeah.
they have to have a triple X porn parody in the title.
Yep, yep. Well, I always feel a bit badly for, I forget who it was, but let's say I looked up George Lucas, his writing credits. He will then get referenced in those movies on his IMDb page as characters spy. So, like, they'll all be part of his movie list.
She's not a nervous person.
His filmography. Are you sure that's
Yes.
right? I don't.
Under pressure.
I'll look it up
I'm not
one
sure
day and
why
I'll
I'm asking you.
let you know better. But yeah, I remember looking up, I forget who it was, but it was someone who had been part of a chain of a franchise. And yeah, for the porn version, it said characters inspired by or characters by
Call you when she's feeling
yada, yada, yada.
What about the party?
Hmm.
In view of Alison's illness, it will of course have to be cancelled.
Well, I guess some of them change the character names, I guess, to avoid that. But because I am Seinfeld was always my favorite sitcom, I of course had to see the porn parody of it, and well, I mean, as much of it as I can take.
Yeah. Although I would not want to see a George porn parody.
I don't remember who played George, but I don't think his name. But they did. But they changed the names. Elaine
Yeah.
was Elena, and Kramer was Kramer, and I think Jerry was Gary. But James Dean
Yeah.
played Jerry, and
Yeah.
I enjoy him, looking at him very much, or I did. And I even saw that god awful movie that he did with Lindsay Lohan, because somebody told me that he has full frontal in it.
Oh. What movie was that? The Canyons?
The Canyons, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yep. Did you ever watch I Know Who Killed Me?
No. Are you crazy?
That was wonderfully terrible.
Oh God, no. Mm-mm. No. Well, it's interesting because Lindsay Lohan started going immediately downhill like straight after Mean Girls. Like
Yeah.
right when she should have been on top of her game and had her. Well, she did have her pick of the litter as far as movies went, but then she just started acting out and she got a bad reputation straight away.
Yeah.
I think like one of the first ones that she did after Mean Girls was Georgia Rule, and the actors
Yeah,
were
where
very
she was-
vocal about
Yeah.
the way she behaved. And I
She
think
was a bit bratty on set, yeah.
What's his face?
Robert Altman?
No. Why is his name escaping me? From American Beauty and Seven and all that stuff.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Yeah, he was very public about her lack of professionalism.
What movie were they in together?
Wasn't he in Georgia Rule?
Oh. I thought Georgia Rule was the one with Jane Fonda and...
Yeah.
I could... Oh, maybe. I never watched it,
I
so
think-
I wouldn't
I
be able
think-
to tell you.
Or maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. But I'm almost positive that if it wasn't that movie, then it was something else that he did with her.
Yep. See, I never really understood. Like I thought she was fine in Mean Girls, and fine again in when she played the twins. But I never really understood, because I used to read my sister's tabloid magazines. Is that how people felt she was some really great, excellent actress, and that it was such a shame what was happening with her? I didn't find her to be like the Meryl Streep of
No.
child actors or anything like that. So.
No.
It's just
No.
It's sort of like, you know, if she was gonna sort of fall off the radar, then good for her.
Same as before.
I mean, as an actress, she was fine.
There are a whole lot of
She
Yeah.
she still had a ways to go.
Aunt Jenny and Uncle Dean and Grandma
Um,
Thorne were there. And I was there
but
too.
the thing was,
I mean,
she
it was
started
me.
fucking up
And it's all
right
stuff.
when
Oh,
she
Pete, what is
she got
happening?
her breakout role,
Nothing, baby, nothing.
and she was given chance after chance after chance after chance, and she fucked them all up.
Mm.
I mean, like, she got Saturday Night Live, she got parts on Two Broke Girls, she got TV movies, she did that
They're locked up in this little gingerbread house.
Elizabeth Taylor movie that's like supposed to be like a big it's like
Crying like mad.
Showgirls now
He's all
for the gays.
actually Uncle Dean. I
um
guess it doesn't make
I've
sense
never
to
seen it,
have that on the door.
but it's supposed to be laughably bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if it isn't something more.
Well, it's sort of like Drew Barrymore got out of her childhood rut and became a better actress for it. Yeah, but it just never happened with Lindsay.
I don't want to go bumping into them.
Well, Drew Barrymore, unlike Lindsay, saw the error of her ways and wanted to be better.
Yeah.
You know, she knew she was on a bad path, and she dug herself out of it, and yes, she did become a better actress because of it. And she even did some really bad movies until she was able to get back into A films.
Well, I always remember people on Facebook type of thing will ask who your movie crush was as a child and stuff like that. And I always forget, the one I tend to put down is, because this is silly of me, but I always had a crush on Hexus from Ferngully, and it's a cartoon. But I always forget, Drew Barrymore was in a movie called Far From Home, I reckon.
Yeah.
And the guy,
Yeah, I love that movie.
as a kid, I thought he was hot.
Who, Andros Jones?
The one who was like the red herring that everyone thought was the killer. So it was a brunette, like the bad boy.
Yeah, Andros Jones.
That she
He
got
was
with, yeah.
in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, I'm getting you out of here.
Was he Alice's boyfriend?
Pretty weird.
He was Alice's brother.
It's not a good place for you.
Oh, okay. Yep. The kung fu guy,
The Kung,
I
yep.
assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was in a bunch of bands.
Okay.
I'll do that. You get dressed.
Yeah, but I was I love Far From Home. I've seen that a lot.
Go back to bed.
That was,
Jenny, I don't want to
she wrote about that in
call you in the morning and let you
her
know
first book,
Go back to
which,
bed, Alice.
you know, she clearly didn't write.
Moving aside and letting her
But yeah, she wrote, it's called Little Girl Lost,
That means you can't
and
Yeah.
she was actually still in rehab or participating in the program, and she really wanted to do the movie because she wanted to get back into acting again.
Yeah.
And I think she had her sponsor with her on set, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she was still able to complete her rehabilitation
Yeah.
while she did the movie. And it was a really
Which is a-
low
which-
budget movie, so
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
think it was a very long shoot.
Yeah. Which is good that she could do that. You know, it shows that it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I think she can sort of be that
Dedicated.
star to oh no, to the child actors that fall off the wagon. She can sort of be the hope.
Mm-hmm. Well, when she was on the Actors Studio, I was very happy that she said that the movie that really got her back into acting and helped her get her reputation back was Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay.
And,
I want you to
you know,
listen to me.
generally,
Listen to me very
people, actors who go on to do bigger and better things,
carefully. Only my
look
voice.
down their noses
And
at
you know that what I'm
things,
about to tell you
that
is the
movies that I like them in. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was certain that she was going to say something negative about Poison Ivy, but she's apparently proud of it and was happy to be offered the role.
Yeah.
That
Well, I
was
don't think
my
that was
first.
sort of a femme fatale character,
Yes.
which I don't think she's ever really replicated.
No. She went on to do a bunch of romantic comedies after that, and I always wanted her to do something gritty like that again.
Yeah.
Putting her against her will. I was just trying
Well,
to get
something I really, because I always thought that she was a fine actress, not particularly excellent. And I think for me, that's because her voice never really ever changes.
Right.
And I think subconsciously that made me always remember that it's her. However, the movie I just loved her in was Grey Gardens. And I think that's because she changed her voice for it. Like
She
had
did.
to take on the New England.
Yeah.
Yes,
she
mother
did.
darling.
Yeah, she was really good in that.
Will you tell the sergeant
As was
what happened last night?
Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange, thank you.
Like, I've never found her bad in anything. Not that I'm sure there'll be stuff that I'll see where I'll be, but
Ellie,
yeah.
what's the matter with you?
Have you ever
Well, she has spoken
I
about
always
her.
just see her as Drew Barrymore.
Well, she has spoken about her. She calls it her Valley Girl accent. She's well aware of it, and I don't think that. I think that it's what makes her her.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's ever really wanted to lose it or try to lose it.
All right, thank you, miss. I don't think we need to trouble you any further.
Oh, now hold on. Look at her. Can't you see they've done something to her? Look, she's drugged or something.
I feel like her boyfriend's become more popular, but I can't remember if I've seen him in
I'm telling
anything.
you the truth. You want to see what sort of place this is? Take a look in the old ladies' room. See for yourself the setup they've got in there.
Are we talking about Allison's boyfriend?
Yes. Not Seth Green. Oh no, it wasn't Seth Green, was it? Who was Drew Barrymore married to for a few seconds?
Tom Green.
Tom Green, yes. The Chad.
Yes, certainly.
Sergeant, if you don't
Tom Green, he dropped off the face of the earth. Supposedly, the movie Freddy Got Fingered ruined his whole career.
put an end to his interference.
Oh, okay. I mean, the stuff he did before that I thought was in line with it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect people to sort of think differently of it.
I think it was because it bombed so badly.
Yeah.
But it has since become a cult film.
I watched it once and I thought for the type of movie it was watchable, but I haven't watched it again.
That kind of sentimentality is
I never
your position,
had any
your
interest.
responsibilities.
I didn't
You
mean
know as well as I do she has a destiny, and she must fulfill it.
I thought he had a small but funny role in Superstar.
Myrna has been waiting a long time.
Oh, okay, yes. I don't remember it, but I do trust you on it.
Thanks for
That was the Molly Shannon movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But do me a favor, don't go wandering too far away. I've got quite an investment in you at the moment. Don't worry. And sometime when you feel in the mood, you might like to tell me what really happened last night.
Yeah, I will. Thanks again.
Now he's gonna do some sleuthing
We're
here.
going to see a friend of mine. Car's just across the road.
Keep out of trouble.
Oh, the uncle drives a Rover, which was my sister's favourite car. I just bought that.
Is that good? Or is that bad?
It's sort of the sedan I think it's Land Rover's sedan release.
This music really is terrible.
Oh, I love it though. Oh,
You do?
it's I find it inappropriate to the car chasing that's going to happen, but
It's very, very low tech.
yes,
I would imagine that this was a micro-budget movie.
Well, I feel it was in line with like the what was it, the new romantic style 80s,
Like
The Cure, you know, and
new wave-ish.
yeah,
2 years? Oh, look, come on in.
The synth scores that were starting to be popular in the 80s.
Terrific to see you. Coffee?
yes.
Now, to that I would not say no.
Down.
I see you're still pretty heavily into things at Cop.
No, don't take too much notice of the decor. That's just to impress the customers.
The what?
I've gone commercial. I do charts.
Where did they say where this was? It was supposed to be taking place?
Got out of that scene when I started to realize the sort of things
No, I don't think so. I'm assuming it's a country town. Oh, actually, I have no idea.
Because I think she moved to Sydney.
Something I can help with?
Yeah.
And that's where she and her boyfriend were living.
And then she's come back to see the family.
Mm-hmm.
That mean anything to you?
Because her uncle who raised her is supposedly on his deathbed, but he's up and walking around every fucking day.
Yeah.
And she's told not to question it
Any clues?
because he's a fighter.
Something like murder.
Myrna. Yeah, rings a bell. Yeah, Celtic, I think.
I did, in one of the reviews that I read, it was a user review. They were saying they were happy to see a bit of
Yeah, here
investigating of the occult go into it.
in ancient Celtic mythology,
That sort of gave it some background information.
worshipped by Celtic
I wouldn't say that's original.
No.
The color blue, her ritual
This person probably hadn't seen very many supernatural thrillers.
Come on, what's all this about?
Wish I knew. If you've got time, I'll tell you the whole story. As much of it as I know. And see if it makes any sense.
He's had a very nice accent, I must say. Would you call him attractive?
I think I'd say his stalker is a bit attractive, whereas the boyfriend has got his good looks.
I think you better get your friend.
Boyfriend?
I told you
Yeah.
last night, remember?
What did you call him? A stalker?
Besides, the way
No, the guy that's stalking him, his
that managed to turn her against me.
From your description, I'd say
He's,
this is some form of hypnosis.
classically good looking, whereas the boyfriend is
Person against their will.
Kind of you go about it right.
I don't know
Say,
what the hell you're talking about.
oh no. Well, at the moment, the boy, I forget his name. The boyfriend is being stalked, is being followed around.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
The most important number in all of their ceremonies would be Myrna's ritual number, 19.
So he's one of them.
According to what
Yes.
you've told me,
No, not the boyfriend, but the guy
No,
that's following him.
the one
Yes.
who's following him. I did not know that.
19 years old. And I wouldn't mind betting it goes further than
And
that.
I'm willing to bet that you see him at the birthday party.
Celtic magicians had a complex star calendar as the basis of their ceremonies.
I don't remember.
assume.
Working on that calendar, today is the 19th day of their year. So you see, to them, Allison would be a very special person. And tonight, a very special night.
Oh.
Well, what are you going to do?
Get her out of there. The point of a shotgun if I have to.
Well, hold on. Before you do that, let's find out everything we can about them and about Allison. What do you know about her real parents?
Nothing. I don't think she knows much about it herself.
I'm getting far too into it.
I'm trying to think of what I would do if I were in his position. Like, how could you possibly get her out of there? Because she's constantly she's under constant supervision.
Yeah,
And
and he's sort of had his bad experience with the police, so you can't really involve them.
right. And they have their fake doctor.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you this. He must really love her, because if it was me, I'd be like, you know what, this is just too much trouble. I'm going back. I'm going back to my DJ job, spinning fucking Kenny Loggins for whatever minimum wage was in Australia in 1979. And hopefully meet somebody of
A replacement.
get a replacement, perhaps an intern. You know, back in those days, it was acceptable to cop a feel if an intern came to bring
Yes.
you some coffee, so you could do that.
Well, he would have been the same age as the intern anyway. It's not Mad Men or anything. See, if this was more upscale, it would be reading a microfiche as opposed to just the newspapers from the day.
But microfiche is so cliche.
I used to be so fascinated by them. I was, oh my god.
Oh my god. We had, when I was in 8th grade, we had 2 research papers to do. It was the first time we ever did research papers. And we were split up into groups of 4. And
Oh, I'm sorry, we can't give out that sort of information.
we had
Miss Baker or her parents.
2 different projects. One was we had to do a research paper on a country, and I was fucking beside myself because no, my country was not Australia, but it was Sweden. So I was my whole fucking contribution is going to be about Ace of Base. I'm going to play Ace of Base during our presentation, which I did. And so my whole research paper, my whole contribution was basically about Ace of Base and pop music in Sweden.
Did you include ABBA in the...
I don't even think I did. I didn't care. I just made it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did another one for a different a decade, and ours was the 30s. And I talked about Snow White and the Wizard of Oz, things like that. But we had to do our research. We went to the main branch of the Philadelphia Library, which is a huge library that has microfiche and stuff. And we were supposed to be looking up stuff for our paper. And I got this brilliant idea. I was like, I want to see what was on TV the night I was born. I remember this. I thought it was the coolest thing ever that the night I was born, prom night, was on HBO.
Oh, okay.
And it had a 1-star rating because I was looking at the TV guide in the microfiche. This is how seriously I took it.
Yes.
I'm sure there was other stuff too. I just remember prom night reaching out and slapping me in the face.
Yep. It was like one of those meant to be moments.
Meant to be, exactly. I was born on the right time. However, this came much later. This was when I wrote my book Open Wounds, which is set the year I was born. It's set in 81, and I wanted to know what the #1 song was the day I was born, so I just googled that. We didn't even need the microfiche.
Yeah.
But it was Endless Love.
Oh, really?
Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. But yeah, I had to include it in the book.
Yeah.
But like, there's a scene when like 2 of the characters get into a car, and one turns the radio on, and that's the first song that comes on. He's like, ugh, and he changes it really quickly.
It always reminds me of my sister's wedding video.
What was their first dance?
Oh, their first dance was that one from Ghost.
Unchained Melody.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
And
the
what year was your sister
with the dry
married?
ice. Oh god. I think maybe 27 years ago. So what's that? 94.
94. Ghost was 90. So they must have been dating at the time the movie came out.
I think actually another. Yeah, I think maybe or yeah.
Maybe they went to see it on their first date or something.
Actually, I think the movie they saw on their first date was House Sitter, but I could be wrong.
I love House Sitter.
I do as well. It's one of those great style comedies that they don't really make anymore. Or if they do, they get quite low rating.
Well, that one didn't do very well. I think that's very underrated. See, we have a similar fondness for underrated 90s comedies. We also like Soap Dish. And I'm sure there are more.
You know, this is slightly off topic, but 90s comedy is that. Do you know the movie Sister Act was originally written for Bette Midler?
I did not know that. That is completely out of left field. Well, that Whoopi Goldberg has said that she often got movies that were written for other people.
Okay.
Because Jumpin' Jack Flash was written for Shelley Long.
Really? Ah.
I love Shelley Long, but I can't imagine her in that movie.
Yep. When you said Shelley Long, my first thought was actually Shelley Duvall, but yeah, even either actor wouldn't have been as good as Whoopi.
No, she's so great in that movie. She's so funny. I was actually talking about the movie with James on another commentary.
Yep. See, this is a very tense scene in a graveyard, but the music is almost like something you'd dance to at a hoedown.
I met somebody once on a dating website who was quite fond of Soap Dish as well.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were meant to be, because not only did he love Soap Dish, but he also loved Who's That Girl? That was another one of his favorite comedies.
Oh, okay.
And he told me the funniest fucking story. He's a teacher, right? And there's a scene. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, for God's sake.
But you continue on.
In the beginning of the movie, Madonna's character goes to prison for something she didn't do. And in the beginning of the movie, she's getting paroled. And there's a guard who she doesn't really like, and she kind of gives a hard time. And as the guard is unlocking the bars leading her to the main exit, she's having trouble with the key. And Madonna, her name's Donovan, the guard. And Madonna goes, "You need some help with that, Donovan?" And the guard just looks at her and she just kind of laughs. Now, this guy that I talked to, he's a teacher in high school. Just so happens he had a kid named Donovan in his class.
Yeah.
And whenever he would give them an assignment, out of nowhere, he would just say, "Need some help with that, Donovan?" And he did not get it, of course. Yeah. And he would just look at him like, "What? Why do you keep saying that?" But he never asked him why.
He got investigated later.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I just thought that was the funny thing. But he turned out to be a douche. I'll tell you, I don't want to be too transparent. But so I'll tell you off the air, why he decided we weren't relationship material, you know.
I doubt that he will after last night, but if he does, we'll simply refuse to let them into the house without a search warrant.
I was disappointed too because I had a lot of fun talking with him.
Yeah. It's nothing to do with foreskins, is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Then that's okay.
No, I have no problem with that at all. I'm actually quite curious about that, actually.
It's like drinking a thick shake.
Okay.
What matters is that Finlays and their friends take it seriously, enough to try and kill me and do God knows what to Ellie.
In more ways than one.
Okay.
Yes.
The murder was revived in the early 17th century by a Somerset farm girl called Isabel Thorne.
A farm girl.
She and her followers used to conduct sabbats in the ruins of an old druidic stone circle, invoking Myrna, inviting her to take possession of Isabel's body. According to the story, that's what eventually happened.
Thorne. Well, that's the name of the old lady, the one that's supposed to be Ellie's great-grandmother.
Better be right.
You see, once we like try to actually start talking about the movie, then it's like the thrill is gone, and you know we don't know what to say anymore. But then when we start talking about other stuff,
well, it's a very easy movie to watch. That doesn't mean it's easy to talk about.
Right.
It's I don't think that there's any scenes that are wasted.
Yes.
Apparently, the last time they held a Sabbath, the locals got wind of what was happening.
Maybe it would be a movie an easier movie to do a commentary for if we hadn't seen it before. Because then we'd be trying...
Oh no, I feel like I'd be watching it too intently.
Well, I would probably just be the whole time being like, who the fuck was that? Why did he do that? Where is he right now? What is happening? Who is talking? And then you would probably have to say, I have to go now. I can't do this commentary anymore.
Baby born at the right time, stolen from the cradle and brought up by members of the coven.
And that's what this is all about. They've got Ellie picked out to be the next Isabel.
Yeah. Oftentimes, I'll be watching movies and I'll see, because I go to a yearly a drag festival, and I go, oh, I could do makeup like her. And the woman who's talking now, she's got like the heavy Cleopatra makeup on.
Really?
What are you asking really about?
The woman in the scene, she's got heavy that makeup like a drag queen on. Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
No. She's got the under eyeliner. That's.
Oh.
Allison, dear, wake up. Come on, dear.
Yeah.
It's
time for the party.
There are I'm seeing them where I'm realizing more and more how much Rosemary's Baby inspired this, and you know the party is like the equivalent of when she goes to see the baby for the first time in the Black Bassinet. I really don't like the movie, but the book is one of my favorite books.
Okay.
I could not deal with Mia Farrow. That whiny voice just killed it for me. She sounds like such a little ditz. I just wanted to smack her.
Where are you going? Oh, this is Grandmother Thorne's room.
It was the Twiggy at the time.
Out of bed, so we're having everybody say hello to her.
Is Twiggy Australian?
No, she's British, I'm quite sure.
I thought so. Oh, speaking of Australian, I was doing a search on YouTube to see what Meryl Bainbridge is up to, and supposedly she was. I found a video from like a morning show from like 4 years ago or something, and she was doing a comeback or planning a comeback. I don't know. I heard conflicting stories about what happened to her career.
Yep.
Because did you hear the single, the first single that was supposed to be for her third album, Girl Next Door? It was called
Mouth?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She recorded another, her third album, the whole thing. It was done in 2003. And the first single was called Girl Next Door. And she had a video for it and everything. And there is I don't know if it's an Australian music show or whatever, but it says EPK. Does that ring any bells?
No.
I have no idea what it is, but it's on YouTube, and there is interviews with her and the producer who co-wrote the record with her, and they play samples of the songs, and the whole thing was done and it was ready to go, and she seemed excited about the release of it. And then later, some years later, because it never came out, I was like, what happened? And I heard originally what I read, which was written on Wikipedia, so this could be true or false. I don't know, but I tend to believe it because, all right, well, what was written on Wikipedia was that Girl Next Door didn't chart at all.
Yeah.
And so the record company decided to shelve the album.
The album. Oh, okay.
But the single did come out. It just the CD single did come out, but the whole album did not. So
I wonder if it's available on Spotify.
That's an idea, because they do have that kind of stuff. But
yeah, like it doesn't take up a physical space, you know.
Right. But yeah, so then it changed. There was a totally different story on Wikipedia a few years later, and it was the same story that she told on the morning show, which was that she decided to step back because she had just had a baby at the time, and she wanted to concentrate more on being a mother. And then she had another baby, and so at the time of that show, she had two kids who were 8 and 11, so they were hardly grown. But she was talking like that, like they were in college. But she's like, so the kids are older now, so I can get back into. I feel like I can get back to it. I'm like, what? So, but I tried to find, because she said she was doing like small tours around the coast.
Oh, yep. Like she might be, because there's a singer that I like called Nick Acosta, who had like maybe one or two big hits, and then the rest of her album career hasn't been great. But she does tours like regional Australia, so it could be something along those lines. Otherwise, sometimes we have like group tours where like you have we had like a concert of all of these singers from the 80s and 90s, where she might be one of the lineup.
Tiffany has a big gay following.
I think we're alone now.
Yes.
Yes.
She, I don't think she does anymore. I don't know what she's doing now. But she used to do, tour gay clubs,
Oh, yeah.
a lot. And Debbie Gibson did a gay cruise.
I used to do gay cruises in the 20s.
We have the big twist here.
I might still be Allison. But you did.
Decades before the skeleton key ever came out.
That's no good. See, we have a bleak ending here. And this was a Hollywood movie. He would have saved her. There's no way Hollywood would have let this pass with this ending. No way.
No, well, recently in the Skeleton Key, that's how it ended.
Well, wasn't the Skeleton Key a Netflix thing?
No, that was in the cinema. It was Kate Hudson and Peter. Oh, I don't know.
Well, wait.
One of the actors with a Swedish background.
Skarsgård?
No, I keep thinking that it's him, but I think it's someone else. He's in Boys Don't Cry. He has a similar last name.
Yeah, especially seeing as he'd already tried it last night. The bloke was obviously...
I don't know.
Yes, I'm afraid you're right. Just terrible that something like this had to happen on Allison's birthday.
Wasn't that a Stephen King book, Skeleton Key?
No, I think it was also, but this one wasn't. It was based on Kate Hudson was looking after this elderly woman in like the New Orleans, and then to give, you know, if you don't mind me giving away the twist, the old woman possesses Kate Hudson's character or something, and then it's a body swap kind of in the same way as
So it's the same exact movie?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. So it basically got an American remake.
I feel so dizzy.
I don't think that it was intended, but
Yes, you did. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with you.
because they had more like
For the party, yeah.
not voodoo elements, but
Called off the party. The doctor said you're not well enough.
Well, I guess I ought to be leaving soon then.
yeah, it was made in 2005 with
I'm afraid
Peter Sarsgaard. That's who it is.
Peter won't be coming round.
Well, Skarsgård are very similar.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Poor Allison. Oh no. Don't laugh at poor Allison. It's terrible.
I was laughing at her one tooth actually, but it is terrible.
So now, a beautiful 19-year-old Allison is now in the body of a woman of 103.
Mm-hmm. Yes, enjoyable.
This sounds like a very Celtic song.
Yes. Something like what's that bloody band called now? Simon and Garfunkel.
It kind of reminds me of the song Greensleeves a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a French singer named Nolan Loire, and she did a a French album that was inspired by a lot of Celtic songs, and
Yeah.
she did a cover of Greensleeves.
Oh. But I didn't realize that had lyrics to it.
Oh yes.
Is Greensleeves the ice cream song in America?
No.
Well, when the ice cream truck comes around, it plays Greensleeves in Australia.
No. It's usually Pop Goes the Weasel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you find out what that movie was that you were telling me about the woman who was stalked by the ice cream truck?
Oh, I did.
Oh, tell me, I'm excited.
Well, I'll look it up now because I have the opportunity. It's got Sigrid Thornton. It's got... I think in some places it was called The Day After Halloween.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yes. Yeah, it's like called Snapshot or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I
Not
did.
a fan then?
No, it wasn't good. I did see it under the Day After Halloween title. Under the Day After Halloween title. Yeah, with that god-awful cover that does not represent what the movie is at all.
Yes.
I don't remember it being Australian. I thought it was English.
Well, no, it is Australian, but back in like earlier days, Australians did talk more with their British background talk.
Oh.
Like we spoke more the Queen's English, you know. The commercials had, "You've got your fingers in it now."
Mm-hmm.
Which is a reference people might get.
That's weird, though, that Greensleeves is the ice cream truck song. Because that just seems so somber.
Oh, well, it's not as annoying as Pop Goes the Weasel.
I talked about this.
That's like a earworm.
Yeah. I talked about this on another commentary, I think one that I did solo. But when I was growing up, we used to have an ice cream truck that would come up our street, and I don't know where the guy was from, but he was not American.
Yeah.
And I think he might have been Middle Eastern or something. And he was nice. I remember he always gave us like these little candies with the ice cream. But what he did that was kind of annoying was he would blare like techno and house music.
Oh God.
Over the Pop Goes the Weasel jingle, the ice cream truck jingle. So it would be both of them playing simultaneously as he was driving around.
Yeah.
He was so disinterested in that story, everybody, that he actually walked away.
No,
I want that to be on record.
I was checking on Mitchell. I could hear him outside crying.
He got up and walked away. Yes. That has been documented.
Can you not hear me? Oh.
And now he's even more disinterested in the commentary that he's playing with his dog. I hope everybody
sorry about
hears
that.
Oh, were you gone? I didn't even notice.
No, I could hear my dog was crying, so I was just making sure he was all right.
So do you have any final thoughts on Allison's birthday?
No, I enjoyed it again, and I hope that you get to see the skeleton key, because I think that you should enjoy that one.
I was thinking that there was something that Kate Winslet did recently that I did enjoy. I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't Mayor of Easttown, was it? Or
No.
something like that?
No. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? It was an English thriller, which I found on Tubi.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was called, but it didn't have audio description, and I'd never seen it before, so I was just listening by ear. And the main girl, it took place at an English boarding school, and the main girl in it, I just pictured her as Kate Winslet the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I wasn't that far off base, because I told my father about the movie because I thought it was really good. I was like, you should watch this movie. And he was like, the girl, and it reminded me so much of Kate Winslet. I was like, what? So I felt like I had magical powers or something.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name of the movie, but because it was really good.
Yeah.
I just remember it was about a girl. She was 18. She was a senior, so it was all right. But she was having an affair with her art teacher, who was, I think he was married to the headmistress. Yeah. And then he went missing. And it was interesting too, because it was an English actor playing an American character, which you almost never see.
Yeah.
But
really, I feel like you can see that sometimes.
That was the first time that I can recall.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. I wish I could remember what it was called.
You'll have to let me know when you remember. Yeah.
If I could, yes, I would recommend it to you. But for now, we should probably wrap this one up.
Did you enjoy the movie?
Of course, I did.
Yes.
And I walked away from it this time with an extra nugget of information about the plot, because I didn't know that the boyfriend was being watched over by the one of the coven's henchmen. I didn't realize that. But that was interesting. And I still feel sorry for poor Allison.
Yeah, but it rounded the story out nicely.
Yes. Okay. Well, I want to thank Tony for joining me, even though he was disinterested toward the end.
No, I promise I wasn't. I was still listening. I just was disappointed you couldn't hear me.
Oh, I heard you. I heard that you weren't by the microphone. Yes. So, yes. I wanted to tell you some Ozploitation that I would really like to do, or did I tell you this before? But some Ozploitation that I would really like to do with you sometime is the Wolf Creek movies.
Oh, okay. Yep. No, I'd be happy to do the Wolf Creeks. And there's a third one being made.
All right. Greg McLean is leaning a little too heavily on Wolf Creek. Because he's got the 2 movies, he's got the TV show, and he's got 3 books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's 3 books. One of them is like a prequel. It's the backstory of the villain, like in his time in Vietnam or whatever.
Of Mick Wolf. That's just what I call him.
Okay. So yes, we will have to figure that out.
Yeah.
All right. So until
Play a bit of head on a stick. So.
oh god, oh that was terrible. Oh. All right. So do you have any final words for the nice people?
No. Goodbye to everyone, and thank you again for having me.
Okay, and thank you for joining me. And thank you to everybody for listening to the bitter end. And until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.